Hi, this is Lynn Tran from the Learn Solve Science, and I thank you so much for your interest in coming to our Reflecting on Practice content clinic. And what I thought we would do here is actually give a technology orientation, because I realize we are toggling between a variety of technology during our content clinic. What I wanted to show you was just that really there are two major platforms, services that we use during our content clinics. The first one is Zoom. That's where we all meet using a video conferencing. We use Zoom meetings rather than the Zoom webinar, simply because our group size number is actually small enough to keep it in a collaborative meeting format, which then gives you a lot of control over the interface and the interactions. And then rather than the webinar where you're confined by what the host allows you to do or not do. And then we also, as a part of the way to keep things interactive and engaging, is we use Google suite of services. Primarily the two that we use is Google Docs and Google Slides. And I will show you how all of that gets used in some cases simultaneously. Might seem daunting, but it totally isn't, and or at least as we get used to it, it will get less daunting and more familiar. Okay, so first, Zoom. Here is, when we use Zoom, you will need to either download the application onto your computer, or you can use it join from your browser. Okay, so if you haven't installed Zoom on your computer, you can go to zoom.us/download to download it and install it onto your computer prior to the meeting. Or if you type in the URL, so this is what I'm going to do right now, is if you type in the URL from your web browser, it will prompt you to download and run Zoom. And I already have Zoom downloaded, so it's just asking me to launch it, okay? So that's what you would do, is to follow the instructions to download and install the application. Okay, so that's how that would work to use it from the Zoom application. But in some cases, we recognize that some of you might not be able to install Zoom onto your computer. You might work at a place where they give you the keys to get into the building and let you interact with children, but won't trust you to install applications onto your computer. Or maybe you're borrowing somebody's computer. So whatever the case, if you are not able to install Zoom onto the computer, there's also still a way to join the meeting from a web browser. So in this case, you would click on the little button down here that says join from your browser. And if you click on that, you get to enter your name. I'm going to put Safari because I'm using the Safari browser. Okay, and I'm able to join the meeting so that I can see the see other people who've joined the meeting, and I can get the chat. Okay, and you're actually seeing me from the Zoom meeting platform. But the Zoom, when you're joining Zoom from the web browser, there's no capability to do video. So what you're going to need to do is actually going to separately dial in. Okay, so the phone numbers to dial in with the meeting ID would be below, or you can have Zoom call you so that you can enter the meeting. Okay, but the idea is we want you to be able to use your video. That'd be really nice so we can all see each other when we're talking. But then also, the audio component is really important, right? So we want everybody to be able to talk and share their ideas and their questions. And so dialing in is the way to be able to do that. And in some cases, if you are using the Zoom application, if you need to join by audio or by phone. So that's where those functions are. Okay, so that's how Zoom will work, and hopefully you can test this out before our next content clinic, or at least start getting things started 15 minutes before the next content clinic, so you can be up and running and be able to join us as fully as possible. Okay, so that's the Zoom space. Then the other tech that we use, what we use when we are interacting in the meetings, is it's all done through Google Slides and Google Documents. Okay, so what we'll do is when you enter the Zoom room, we will push out the link to the Google Slides. Okay, and so once you click on the slides, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let me, whoops, get out of my presentation mode. Right, so if we share the link to you with everybody, this is what the interface would look like if you were in Zoom, and you can see me a lot of times because that's me from the Safari, and the Safari doesn't have web video capability, but you can participate in audio and you can get the whole platform or the interface. In clicking on chat box here, we'll open up the chat box, and you can see the URL to the Google Docs. And if you click on that, it'll open up the Google Docs, the Google slide that we'll be using for that content clinic. Okay, so that's what the chat box is there for. The chat box is also for questions and back channel conversations. And at the beginning, we like to do introductions to find out where people are and who's in the content clinic. So typing in those things there is a great space for the chat box. Okay, this is like here. This is from our last content clinic on prior knowledge, and we were calling out going beyond learning styles, and there was a link here to provide another resource. So you can either click on it and click on the text, and hyperlink, the URL will pop up, or what we're going to start to do is actually put the link also in the notes section so that you can retrieve the link there. And our reasoning for using Google Slides is so that everybody can have access to the materials, but then also enabling everyone to have control over the materials as we progress. Obviously, that runs into problems where you don't know where we are, and so just call it out. Hey, which slide are we on again? And we'll bring you back, right? But the idea being to give you control so that you can navigate and follow along, stay engaged, and know where all the materials are. And then if you need to just go back really quickly to look at something or retrieve something, it's all there and you're using it rather than having us skip back and forth. Okay, so it gives you as much control as possible. So that's sometimes the slides are there with content, with links, and the talk is this idea that we're talking in whole group. Sometimes we might do write and share, right? Kind of like our quick writes, where we give you a chance to think about something and write some things down, and then we really actually also want you to share some highlights from whatever you scribble down, your experiences or whatever. And we use the Google Docs for that. This is where the chat boxes are nice, but the box is so small and there's a lot to read and follow. So the chat boxes become actually not very visually useful, or probably a better way to say that. Anyway, so in those cases, you might see the Google Doc icon, or let me go back out and show you what happens. Right, so those of you who have gone to a content clinic, you'll know that we have you, you've had this experience where we're having you go to a Google Doc. So if you click on the icon or the text or in the notes section of the Google Slides, you will get the URL to the Google Doc. And so if you click on the document, this the link, it'll open up a Google document where everybody can type in their thoughts, their reflections, their whatever. The prompts will be different, the layout will be different, but the idea is that everybody can add something simultaneously and we can all see it all at a glance, and it's just a lot easier to look at all of this content at once than in a chat box that's very linear and very constrained. Okay, so we like using the collaborative document in that way. And then this becomes a springboard for further conversation about whatever topic we are talking about, okay? So that's the collaborative documents. So you actually have to do the clicking and getting to the document. And then sometimes we go even crazier. In this case, there are 4 different things happening in this page that you're being prompted to. In some cases here, right, with the download, this is an attempt to do a research discussion during the content clinic. And so you were prompted to download the document. This is a document that you'll already have in the curriculum, right? And so if you click on the hyperlink, the URL is there. Also, again, in the notes section, you can get to the URL to download a document. Okay, so I'm going to download this and you'll see what happens. Another window pops up and you're able to download the document that we're referring to. And then we also asked everybody to watch something during this research discussion. So in this case, this is a video that's been embedded within the Google slide. And you would click on the link here and then get the video started. I won't click on the link because then the video will go and there'll be too much audio going on. But here you would click on the link to get the video going. And then we also wanted to break out into smaller rooms to talk and then ask you to take notes. Like I said, this page had a lot going on. So you would break out into smaller rooms, and that's when the host would push everybody out into smaller breakout rooms. Okay, and so that's what this looks like, where the host is inviting you to join a breakout room, so you can choose to click to join or later, and then you'd still be in the big room without being in a breakout room. So I would recommend you joining the room. And then when it's time to all reconvene, the host will call everyone back. And then this image will pop up, this prompt here, where you have basically 60 seconds to finish your small group conversation, or you can leave now right away. Okay, so if you don't click on anything, in 60 seconds, you will be brought back into the big group. Okay. But the idea here is sometimes we just need to get into smaller rooms and smaller groups to talk to each other, maybe with 2 or 3 people. It's a lot cozier than trying to have a big conversation with 10 or 15 people during a content clinic. Okay, so that's how the content clinics will generally run. The prompts and the tasks will change, but in terms of the technology, that's what we'll be using is, so then you're being asked to then toggle between having Zoom up and running so that we can see you and you can engage in the conversation and get the materials, but then also you'll need a web browser open so that you can access the Google Slides and participate in the collaborative sharing and discussions in the Google Doc. Okay, so I look forward to seeing everybody in the next content clinic. If there's more questions, or if you want us to provide more instructions or clarification, please let us know. We definitely very much value feedback and input to make this better. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.